is she the geometrical representation of the deity in Coimbatore, in the temple? And what is the difference between her, the one that you just consecrated in Salem, the Utsa Murti, and the Yantra and the Gudi?
Do you see some difference between me and the speaker which is out there, which is speaking to you right now? You notice some difference? But it's right now, it's an extension, isn't it? Whatever I speak wouldn't reach you unless the microphone and the speaker are functioning. So, the yantra and the gudi is just like delivery systems. In some way, even now as I speak, when we say this voice has a certain pattern. Every pattern is a geometric form in some way. Now if I speak, now as I'm speaking, waves and patterns are falling out of my mouth. Yes? This used to happen to me when, as a little child, I'd go sit in a class like this, I see things spilling out of their mouth, but I don't translate it in my head back into sound, I just see the patterns. So even now, these patterns are spilling out of my mouth. This microphone is picking it up, making it into a completely different geometric pattern and going down to the speaker. And there again it is being transformed into another geometric pattern, which again is coming as sound. See, right now, from this microphone, which is a wireless microphone, to this, to the amplifier, and from the amplifier to the speaker, there are different geometries. Yes, the different types of wave patterns. It is not sound, it is sound, but it is not the kind of sound that your ears can perceive. Otherwise, what is going here from the transmitter that I have to the amplifier, it's a different geometry. Because it's a different geometry, only the receiver there is able to perceive that, not you. For you to perceive, again it has to be transformed into a geometric pattern that you hear, which is as you experience sound right now. Similarly, the Devi is of a certain geometric pattern. The transmission is of a different geometric pattern. How you receive it, the means or the instrument through which you receive it is of a different geometric pattern, but what is delivered is the same thing. Myself, this microphone, this transmitter, that receiver, that amplifier, these speakers. Very different, isn't it? Though these are all different things, still what is delivered is just what I speak. Suppose somewhere along the way, either this transmitter or that receiver, that amplifier gets little mischievous and starts delivering a different geometric pattern than what I am delivering through my speech, then it will start doing its own Pravachan or whatever you want to call it. I never thought I'm doing a Pravachan, but just now it will start talking something different. Then, this is a dangerous process, isn't it? This whole microphone, this is a terrible process because I say one thing, it says something else. Very dangerous. This is useful only because it only says what I say, amplified, that's all, enhanced, but not different. So right now, if you are sufficiently enhanced, see, this is also a yantra, isn't it? The word yantra means a machine. Isn't this human mechanism a yantra? This is the most sophisticated yantra. You can't build a better one than this. You can enhance this by building other yantras. Because I can speak, a microphone and this whole system is enhancing my speech, it's a wonderful yantra. This is a machine which is enhancing. So similarly, various activities that we perform, speech activity, mobility, all these things we have enhanced with different instruments or machines that we have created. In fact, all machines that we have created is only enhancement of things that we can already do. You never created a machine to do something that you yourself cannot do. You can pick up a handful of earth. Now you created an earth mover which picks up 10 tons of earth. You can speak. So there's a microphone, there's a telephone, there's all kinds of phones. Because you can see, there is a telescope, there is a microscope, there are all kinds of scopes. But if you could not see, what use is a telephone or what use is a telescope? What use is a microscope? Both are useless, isn't it? Only what we can do to enhance that is what we have created instruments or machines. So Devi is a certain kind of machine. All the Devi devotees won't like this. The Sadguru, don't say this. Devi I think I've been telling this to people have been protesting. Whenever I use the word tool to refer to Dhyanalinga or to Devi, they say, Sadguru, please. It's like I'm treading on something that's sacred to them. They don't understand. I put my life to make these things happen. They think sitting like this is more involvement than throwing your life to make something happen. So, for such people, you must come to the ashram. I will give you a plumber's job. I won't try electrician's job because it'll kind of immediately end, you know. If you try electrician's job without tools, instantly, you won't have an experience, I'm saying. A plumber's job is good. Plumbing job, no tools, no spanners, no winches, no chain winches, nothing. With your hands, nails and teeth, you do the plumbing job in the ashram for 3 days. In 3 days, your fingers will be torn, nails will be gone, most of the teeth will be gone, maybe jaw would have worn out and your mouth would be like this because this whole thing would be worn out trying to open the pipes. So, after 3 days, if I give you a spanner, will you worship this spanner or no? For sure, you'll worship the spanner or no? So this is how a spanner god happens. Yes, spanner gods. Because in this country, we worship a spanner, we worship a crowbar, we worship a car, we worship electrical switches, everything. No, it's not a joke. We're appreciating that these yantras are which are given us dominance on this planet. You cannot even run as fast as a dog. Yes? You can't even fly like a crow. Forget a crow, even you can't fly like a mosquito. Tell me, compared to every other creature on this planet, you're really no good by yourself. But we are capable of creating tools. Because we created various types of tools, we have dominance on the planet. Suddenly, we are seen as the top of the pile of evolution. I want you to look at a human being without any tool in this world. No animal would think you are the peak of evolution. Yes or no? Yes? No animal, no creature would even consider looking up at you. Only because you're capable of creating tools from a simple club with which you could fight something to many more things that we have created which we call as technology today, only because of this. So Devi is a certain machine. But anything that is capable of doing something that you yourself cannot do, you naturally bow down to it, isn't it? Can you run as fast as your car? I'm asking you, unless you're a lousy driver. So, people sit down and bow down to the car. Maybe today they're bowing down with fear that if you do this, it will run well, it will not run well unless you drive well, okay? You bow down to the car acknowledging you're capable of doing something more than me. Why are you standing in front of me like this? Simply because in some dimension you noticed I'm able to do something more than you. Yes? Yes or no? So just another tool, a guru is another tool. Please make use of it. Don't just worship it. If you have a screwdriver, if you just one day in a year you worship it on Ayuda Puja, it's good. Every day if you only worship it, not make use of it, what's the point? A tool should be bowed down to because it is capable of doing something that you yourself cannot do. Body itself is a tool. Either you keep it as an enhanced tool or a miserable tool. Mind itself is a tool that you have. You can keep it as a tremendous tool or a miserable tool, but it is a tool. So Devi is another kind of machine or a tool. How to make use of her? There are procedures. How to use your computer? There is a procedure. There is a user's manual. Similarly, how to make use of this machine called Devi? We have a user's manual. This is how you approach her. If you do this, this and this machine, you will have handle over it so that you can use it and enhance yourself because right now my voice is enhanced because I'm using the machine called microphone. And this microphone is essentially designed for me. I go to every conferences, men and women are using this microphone. It's sticking out like this, like they got some extra teeth. I'm the only one.
This is something that people have been struggling with for ages, because these are two different types. These are two different dimensions of one's existence. These two dimensions are about doing something, making something happen and allowing something to happen to you. These are two different aspects. So now the question is, which is more, which is less? Can I do it all? Or there's nothing I can do, I have to just allow it? If you are capable of just allowing it, that would be very good for you. But if you are the kind who just allows things to happen to you, do not expect people around you to understand anything about you, because they will not understand. People around you cannot understand what it means to allow. Doing is something that they understand, but doing is a limited possibility, and doing is a very laborious process. It's like, if I want to bake bread, how much of it do you do? How much of it do you allow? There is an equal proportion of both. If you do not knead it hard enough, if you do not work to load the oven properly, if you do not set the right temperatures, which is all you're doing, it's not going to happen. But if you're not willing to allow, that you're willing to close it and simply sit there like a pregnant woman. Yes, baking, if you do not know how to bake bread, it is all as complicated as bearing a child. Yes. You have to sit there and wait. If you're too much of a doer, You want to open every few moments and look at it, you will not have bread, you will have something else. This goes for baking bread, growing a plant, bringing up a child, or bringing yourself up, which is, you're realizing is the hardest task. That if you want to bring yourself up, there's a certain amount of striving and doing on your part to be done. But without allowing, it will be an extraordinarily difficult process and incomplete process for a very long time to come. So both are needed. If both have entered your life at the same time, you must consider yourself to be an extremely fortunate human being, whether you understand the fortune or not. Because there are people who for lifetimes are just doing without grace being available to them. There are people who are just waiting for grace to happen, not doing anything because they do not know what to do, doing their own little things without doing the right kind of thing to become open to the process. So these two kind of people exist everywhere in the world. Some are waiting for gods to do things for them. Some are trying to do everything by themselves. You are an extremely fortunate human being if action and receptivity both have come into your life at the same time. That you know how to perform action. Everything that you can do, you will do, but you have the sense and the gracefulness to sit and wait for that which you cannot do. So, it is that dimension, it is this combination of these two that we are effectively delivering through Isha Yoga. That people learn to do something about themselves, at the same time, people learn the humility of waiting, the devotion. Devotion is needed, otherwise one cannot wait. If you do not look up to something, you cannot wait. So to be able to do everything that's needed, having the necessary tools and the empowerment to do things about your life, at the same time having the necessary sense and grace to wait and be able to receive, both these things need to happen. So if the question is pushed a little further, the question could be, can't I do it myself? Or the next question could be, will you write a self-help book, get yourself enlightened? This happened at a doctor's office. A woman came with her husband who was limping and in a bad shape. She brought him slowly, he was leaning heavily on her, she brought him slowly and made him sit down. The receptionist who was sitting there being sympathetic to the situation, said to the woman who brought this man, arthritis with complications? The woman said, no. Self-help with concrete blocks. So, self-help books sometimes have done things for people, good things for people. A lot of times they only injured themselves, broke things up, broke situations up in your life, because self-help is not always the right thing. But is it something that you don't do? No, you must do. So a combination of both is best. If you push one too far, you may lose your grounding. If you push your receptivity too far, not doing anything, you do not even know whether you're being receptive or just being lazy. If you try to do everything yourself, not allowing anything to be received, then it's like a plant which is trying to grow without sunlight. It will grow, but pale. It will not produce any flower or fruit. It'll be a long time before it can produce anything. So we need a combination of both. The kriyas, the practices are a phenomenal way to prepare the system to be open to new possibilities. If your energies do not open up to new possibilities, then you're talking about a long drawn-out journey. To become open is the most important thing. So just believing that I'm open and not doing anything about it is no good. There are lots of very open people, if you say one word, tomorrow they'll be gone. They believe they're very open. Even me, if I make as much as one comment about them, tomorrow they'll be gone. That open they are. So openness has to be tested with your commitment of time and effort. How open you are, you have to prove every day to yourself and to the existence. By every day putting in that much, I'm this open, I'm willing to give my this much of time and commitment, I'm that open. So your sadhana is a tool for opening you up and also a test for your openness, both ways. So these are inseparable, you cannot separate them. If you separate it, it is an unrealistic separation which does not work, largely does not work. There may be a devotee who does nothing, who just sits and receives it. But as I said, if you become all receptivity, it may be wonderful for you, but you won't know whether you're going forward or backward, that's one thing. Another thing is nobody would want to be around you, that's another thing. It's already so.